So full of ideas. I know how it is. One minute you're paddleboarding along the lake, the next minute you're in back to school mode as you consider whether to add book clubs in September, buy a new plant for your windowsill, or try to fight a Jason Reynolds book into your 9th grade team curriculum. Yes, do it. Fight for the book. Don't try to tell me that's not you, because here you are, listening to this teaching podcast in July. It's nothing to feel bad about. Mixing a little fun, creative work into summer relaxation is allowed if that's what you want. So is taking the summer 100% completely off, whatever works for you. But if you're looking for some ideas, some things, systems, concepts you can put into place right now, this minute, so that the year is exponentially easier and nicer, you've come to the right place. Because today, in episode 200, I'm sharing some fun favorites you can put into place right this very moment and then enjoy them all throughout the year. Hey there, I'm your host, Betsy Potash, and one-pagers, project-based learning, and choice reading are my jam. I believe in you, and my goal is to help you explore all the creative possibilities you dream of for your classroom. I'm an educator, a chocolate cake aficionado, a traveler who can't wait to get back to Barcelona, and the kind of mom who brings her own mini makerspace to her kid's classroom when she comes to volunteer. I know this for sure, creativity isn't always easy. As a creative teacher, you get parent calls you treasure, and plenty of sidelong comments you'd rather forget. But here's the bottom line. Creative education can ignite a spark in your students and change their lives forever. You and I know this. You're an innovator, and while it's sometimes hard, it's so worth it. So let's explore the world of creative education together. Welcome to the Spark Creativity Teacher Podcast. Okay, first things first, my number one tip for making things easier for yourself later is to make your syllabus now and make it the easy way. I remember putting together syllabi that took me forever. I spent so much time deciding exactly how to word my goals, which lines of communication I wanted parents to use, what kinds of imagery I wanted to be surrounding my texts. But the thing is, students just don't look at it very much. They take a quick glance on the first day. Maybe they refer back to your grading policy one time. And so for me now, I think that using a syllabus template is the way to go. And I've designed several for you. In the show notes today at nowsparkcreativity.com, you can quickly sign up for me to send you a few different syllabus templates. And then all you have to do is plug in your information, put in your course title, put in your texts, your grading policy, and boom, 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 you can be done with your syllabus in 10 minutes instead of 3 hours like me. Okay, number 2, I think summer is such a great time to think about your classroom. You're away from it. Probably you've cleaned it up really well at the end of the year. So you kind of have this canvas there and you can think, what am I enjoying about my classroom as it is? What don't I like? What do I really wish I could add? And I think one of the most fun ways to think it all through and to create something cohesive for the next year is to create a classroom mood board. Have you seen these mood boards? It's kind of like a vision board. You put bits and pieces of things that inspire you onto one piece of paper or one digital canvas so that as you're making purchases or designing posters or thinking about your organization, you have one piece of paper, one sheet that you can sort of look back on. This can really help guide you so that when you're making purchases for your classroom, you can get what matches, right? You want to get the light gold bulletin board dividers. You want to get the light blue plant holder. You want to design things that match with the other things. And if you have a dream that you want to have 2 new bookshelves, then you sort of have that in the back of your mind once you've made your mood board, and you can be looking along the curb or at garage sales or at the Facebook marketplace for those 2 bookshelves that you have already identified on your mood board as kind of dream pieces for you. It just gives you a sense of direction and a sense of clarity as you think about your classroom. And it's also really fun. It's fun to dream up the classroom that would make you feel really peaceful and at home and creative and relaxed next year. Okay, number 3, this is such an easy thing to do. All you have to do is just get into the show notes and sign up for me to send it to you. And that is to start incorporating attendance questions into your classroom, and I've already designed 3 weeks worth to get you started. Attendance questions are one of my favorite quick community builders, so they're really great for the start of the year. Chances are you've heard me talk about them before. You just ask one instead of saying, class, say here when I say your name, you say, class, tell me if you like pancakes or waffles better when I say your name. Or class, tell me the one place in the entire world that you'd most like to visit when I say your name. And I have designed a bunch for you that are kind of fun. They're image-based. And so there are this or that questions. There are would you rather questions. There are sort of which number fits your day questions. And they all have fun pictures to go along with them. And so at the beginning of the year, you can spend a little bit of extra time with these attendance questions just to help you get to know your students in a fun, easy, daily check-in kind of way. Okay, number 4, a fun thing to do in summer as you're hiking, as you're road tripping, as you're gardening, is to tune into a podcast or two that you might like to share with your students. So if you're a middle school teacher, maybe you want to tune in to Smash Boom Best or The Unexplainable Disappearance of Mars Patel. If you're a high school teacher, you might want to tune into How I Built This or Shakespeare Unlimited or Grammar Girl or The Happiness Lab. There are some really great shows out there that you can use as texts in class, but it's important to pre-listen, right? You just don't want to be caught by surprise by something in your classroom. And so if you take some time to listen to them for fun over the summer and add a bookmark to your bookmarks folder or a screenshot on your phone so that you know which episodes that you thought were really great for class, that's just like a fun, easy complement to summer activities. Okay, number 5. For me, one of the most important things to do over summer is to plan a first day that I feel really comfortable with. This is something that can help you cut down on those anxiety dreams, help you just feel more confident going into the back to school season. If you have a first day plan you feel completely comfortable with, it doesn't put you on the spot, I think that makes life so much easier when there's so much kind of swirling around you and quite a few unknowns. So lock in a low stress day 1. I have a couple of ideas for you. These are my favorite activities for day 1, but whatever it is, just like make a plan now and stick with it so that you can stop worrying about it. So one idea is to do identity hexagonal thinking. This is something that's really taken on popularity in recent years. You do hexagonal thinking. Hopefully you are familiar with that a little bit from me in the past. If not, in the show notes, you can go read a full post about this. But hexagonal thinking is where students have different concepts and ideas on little hexagons, and they line them up, they connect them side to side where they can explain how those little hexagons create. That's like such a quick version of hexagonal thinking. But for identity hexagons, each student designs their own big hexagon, kind of like a one-pager. They put their name on it, whatever you want, their favorite subject, their favorite authors, their favorite quote, maybe where they're from, their favorite song, activities that they love, and they put them on the hexagon, on sort of the different sides of the hexagon, maybe add some illustrations. And then they get into small groups and they start connecting, okay, what do I have in common with the people in my group? How could my hexagon sit on the table next to somebody else's hexagon so that something we have in common on one of the sides of our hexagons can connect? So maybe that's that we have the same favorite quote, or we actually really like the same type of music, or we have the same dream vacation destination or whatever. And they start to show the connections between the people in their small group. Then their small group joins another small group, and they start to see, okay, how does my group connect to your group? How can I make this web of connection even bigger? And eventually you get your whole class connected on your wall. And it's just a chance for everybody to learn a lot about each other, to start to work on their group dynamics, to start to build their relationships, and to see that we really are all connected. A similar activity that I love that's a little bit less complicated for the first day is to do name tent one-pagers. So for this, it's very similar. Everybody's going to have a piece of paper folded in half, and on the front of it, in different sections, just like with the hexagons, they're going to put maybe their favorite books, maybe their favorite types of projects in class, maybe their favorite music. Whatever categories you want, they're going to fill it out on that name tent with their name really big across the middle. And my favorite hack for name tents is at the end of class, once they've made their beautiful name tent that you can then use for the next week or two to make it so much easier to get everyone's name right and to learn a little bit about them, is to ask them to hold it up and just snap a quick picture with their permission so that you can study at home. For me, this takes so much pressure off learning everybody's names because I always feel really bad if there's somebody whose name I don't remember once I've remembered almost everybody else's. And so I like to go home and I like to swipe through my pictures over and over and over on the first night until I have everybody's names because I feel so much more confident in class for the rest of the year, really, knowing everybody's names, knowing that I'm not going to mess up. Okay. Last but not least, my final suggestion of a fun thing to do this summer that can help you out for fall is to read a few graphic novels. If you went through Camp Creative with me a few weeks ago, you know that I am super into graphic novels right now, and I think it's here to stay. I think this is such a helpful way to bring in more readers, to generate enthusiasm for reading in your classes. And I know that for many folks, this is kind of new, and it's an emerging genre that we're exploring together. And so summer is a great time to put them in your Libby queue, to scoop up a few at reduced prices from First Book, to start a Donors Choose project and get some graphic novel titles. Some of my favorites for high school that you could check out would be Long Way Down, Dragon Hoops, The Odyssey, The Dark Matter of Mona Starr, the Heartstopper series. Some of my favorites for middle grade would be Muhammad Najem, War Reporter, Illegal, Swim Team, When the Stars Are Scattered, New Kid, and the whole New Kid series. But that's just really the tip of the iceberg. Once you get to exploring, there's so much out there that could really help engage your readers. And so each of these books, it takes like 45 minutes to read. And so if you're just looking for a light, fun read in your hammock or on the beach, you might actually really enjoy exploring some of these graphic novels. And then you have that in your back pocket come fall when a student comes to you and says, "Oh, I just can't find anything that I want to read on this shelf. Can you help me?" And you could say, "Would you like to try New Kid? It's a really great book about a student who's new at his school and he doesn't quite know, all the rules and he has to figure out who his friend should be. And it's kind of like you because you're new here at this school and you might enjoy reading somebody else's experience or whatever, right?" Knowing a little bit about these books and having them in your library could be a big resource for you this year, and it could be a fun way to prepare this summer. Okay, my friend, I could go on, but a big part of July is also renewing your creative energy, building up your internal reserve. So I am going to stop it here with these 6 options for July. Thank you so much for joining me today for the 200th episode of the Spark Creativity Teacher podcast. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay creative.